Hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power, how it works. So just how do we get electricity from water? Actually, hydroelectric and coal-fired power plants produce electricity in a similar way. In both cases, a power source is used to turn a propeller-like piece called a turbine. The turbine then turns a metal shaft in an electric generator. The generator is the motor that produces electricity. A coal-fired power plant uses steam to turn the turbine blades. A hydroelectric plant uses falling water to turn the turbine. The results are the same. The little box on the left says this photograph shows Hoover Dam. Built on the Colorado River in the southwest United States, the dam generates electricity for parts of Nevada, Arizona, and California. A typical hydroelectric dam is built on a large river with a large drop in elevation. The dam stores lots of water behind it in the reservoir. Near the bottom of the dam wall, there's the water intake called a penstock. Gravity causes the water to fall through the penstock inside the dam. At the end of the penstock, there's a turbine propeller, which is turned by the moving water. The shaft from the turbine goes up into the generator, which produces the water, or the power. Power lines connected to the generator carry electricity to your home and mine. Then the water continues past the propeller through the tail race. The water then flows into the river past the dam. By the way, it's not a good idea to be playing in the water right below when the dam water is released. For the generator to produce electricity, loops of wire must spin rapidly through force fields made by magnets. Number 1, water enters through the penstock. Number 2, water turns a turbine propeller. Number 3, generator produces power, which is carried by power lines. Pumped storage. We're using water for peak electricity demand. Demand for electricity is not flat and constant. Demand goes up and down during the day. Overnight, there's less need for electricity in homes, businesses, and other facilities. For example, at 5 p.m. on a hot August weekend day, there may be a huge demand for electricity to run millions of air conditioners. But 12 hours later at 5 a.m., not so much. Hydroelectric plants are more efficient at providing for peak power demands during short periods than are fossil fuel and nuclear power plants. One way of doing that is by using pumped storage, which uses the same water more than once. Pumped storage is a method of keeping water in reserve for peak periods of power demand. Pumps move water that had already flowed through the turbines back up to a storage pool above the power plant. That happens when customer demand for energy is low, such as during the middle of the night. The water is then allowed to flow back through the turbine generators at times when electricity demand is high. So you have your storage pool, flow of water to generate electricity, flow of water during pumping, low electricity demand, and a power plant. I'm going to read the questions. Number 1, the boxes below describe 4 events from the hydroelectric power. 2 events are causes, 1 event is an effect, and 1 event results from that effect. The events are in no particular order. Water is stored in response to changing demand. People use more electricity in the day. The demand on a power plant changes over time, and electricity use drops at night. Complete the diagram below by copying each event in the correct box. So you have cause, effect, result. Number 2, which sentence describes a way hydroelectric plants are better than other power plants? A, actually, hydroelectric and coal-fired power plants produce electricity in a similar way. B, a typical hydroelectric dam is built on a large river with a large drop in elevation. C, overnight, there's less need for electricity in homes, businesses, and other facilities. D, hydroelectric plants are more efficient at providing for peak power demands during short periods than are fossil fuel and nuclear power plants. 3, 2 parts. Part A, select the statement that best describes how water produces electricity. A, water is stored during periods when electricity is not needed. B, a coal-fired power plant turns steam into electricity. C, moving water turns a turbine within a generator. D, a penstock is needed to create electricity from water. Part B, which 2 sentences, pick 2 sentences from the text, best show the relationship described in Part A. A, actually, hydroelectric and coal-fired power plants produce electricity in a similar way. B, the generator is the motor that produces electricity. C, a hydroelectric plant uses falling water to turn the turbine. D, a typical hydroelectric dam is built on a big river with a large drop in elevation. E, power lines connected to the generator carry electricity to your home and mine. F, pumps move water that already flowed through the turbines back up to a storage pool over the power plant.